So, do you guys want to know all about the puzzles?
Yes.
Yeah, what was the color puzzle? That's the first one I'm interested in.
Okay, so we'll do that one last.
Okay.
So, well, actually, let's just do it in the order that you guys experienced them in.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one. What was the first one you guys did?
Oh, was it the first one the tile where the
Yeah,
monsters
that was the
spawn?
tile. So basically, like that one you figured. That one you like almost all the puzzles you solved. The first one was the tile one. That basically is certain squares activated monsters. The door, the tiles directly next to each door were triggers. There were 4 other tiles in the room that would have triggered. So had you actually entered the room and ran around and fought in there, running around, you had a chance of actually activating those monsters as well.
Say we just pinned them on a corner.
So you were fortunate enough that you were in the hallway, and so only that straight line worked.
I did it.
The bugbear room, they were actually in stasis. Every time someone enters the room, 4 of them activate. So when you all charged in, it activated them.
Yep. A fade or something like that.
Yeah. And then the phrase beware the death that will someday end is actually in reference to the temporal stasis that the bugbears were in.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Stasis, I guess, would count as a type of death.
Yeah. Oh no, that was the second tower. Okay, so the first tower was the rubble room. That was right. That was the Manicore one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
Oh
Manicore
yeah.
one. So that was just a room with a Manicore in it, and that was just kill the Manicore and then you're done with that room.
Mm-hmm.
The illusion ball, the Indiana Jones one.
Yeah.
It basically stipulates that there is no save against it. You actually, try as you might, you actually have to let the thing hit you. That's what disrupts the illusion.
So pretty much like Falco did.
Yeah, what Falco did, and because you were connected, and then basically, once the ball rolls through you, you pass the test, and then you actually have to. If the other people refuse to pass the test, if you physically touch them, it breaks the illusion for them. Since the bird was technically touching you through the spell, that's why it broke it for you.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah. Yeah, like first edition and second edition like puzzles are really intuitive, like really smart stuff. That's why I love about it so much. Let's see okay, so yeah, the crystal we're skipping that one, moving on. So the crystal pedestal, you kind of figured out. It's like as soon as you like read the words and the monsters appear.
There was nothing we could do to bypass that.
No, you actually had to. But the thing is, he read all of them at once, and so they all activated. Had you just read one word, waited like a few seconds, then only one monster would have appeared.
Okay, so we took it the hard way.
Yeah, you by reading them all at once without pause, you had to do it that way. And I was just like, "Are you sure you read them all at once?"
So it's like all or nothing.
Yeah. And then the room after that was the Umber Hulk. That was again just like the Manicore room.
Yeah, it's just there.
Yeah, it's just there. So the reason why I did another reason why I'm doing the last 2 traps last is because one of them is actually not part of the module. The infinite hallway room, that was actually taken. That was kind of me creating something. Huh?
I like that one.
You mean the best room?
Yeah. that was actually me taking a puzzle trap from a different module and using it for this one, because what they had for this one I didn't really care for, basically it was a beaded curtain. You can't see through it. You can't do anything. You actually have to run through it. And when you run through it, you actually have to make a saving throw. In which case, if you fail it, because all it is an ambush. And I was like, that's kind of boring. Like they run through the beaded curtain. And like if they fail their saving throw, they automatically get attacked. So I took a different trap from a different game and applied it here. Basically, what it was in this case it was room after room after room. In the actual module, it was a long hallway, and you just keep walking and walking and walking. It's basically an infinite hallway. It's not
It's
until
like the Bowser Castle in Mario 64.
Yeah, and it's not until you actually take a pause and just kind of sit there and like effectively taking a short rest without taking a short rest, like take a 5 minute. If you just kind of pause and sit to gather your thoughts, you find the ring. And to break the enchantment is just to throw the ring down the hallway.
Nice.
Not wearing it.
Yeah, not wearing it. But if you do anything else, it basically causes an amnesia effect. So and then there's this room. So this room, and I'm actually so the trick to this room was, yes, anytime you moved a certain way, you get no saving throw, you automatically take 5 points of damage. The way you navigate this room is actually based on your initial starting position.
That's what I figured at some point. It's like if I started on this square, it probably affects all the other squares I go on.
Yes. And if you look at the board and ignore the colors and make it more black and white, where it's just a colored block and a gray block, it looks like what?
Checkers board.
A checkered board. What is something else that is checkerboard?
Chess.
A chessboard, which means based on where you're starting,
Yeah.
you're a chess piece and you move according to that piece.
Okay.
If you move according to that piece, you're fine. If you don't, you get penalized. And you two of you had the hardest one. You had the knight pieces. So I tried to give you hints when you fell certain ways, but you're just like,
oh, it's where we landed in terms of chess pieces.
Yeah.
Oh.
One of us just used the potion to negate it.
Yeah, and Ren, you actually had the bishop piece. So as long as you moved diagonally, you would have been fine. But you decided to move in a straight line instead.
Yeah.
Because there's the way it's situated was there's actually 5. Like I said, there were 5 slots.
So you had a
rook, a knight, a king, a bishop, and a second knight.
So a king could have pretty much done anything.
Yeah, as long as you move one square at a time.
It's true.
You were fine. Because that's why I said when Nora made that jump, they moved 2 squares. Had they just gone left or right 1 square, they would have been fine. But they stood there. That's why I give you that's why that particular shock happened. There was a delay to that one because it was waiting for you to make that left or right move, but you didn't. So it was like, okay, you're gonna get penalized. And there was one point where you were on the rope and you fell, but you happened to fall in that pattern of a knight. That's why you weren't penalized.
That makes sense.
I see.
And that's just like, fuck it, just took the damage.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was the most intellectual of the puzzles because you actually have to know something about chess. And if you don't, it's up to the DM to kind of throw hints your way to hopefully figure it out.
Well, everyone in my head knows about chess. It's just a matter of linking the two.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about chess.
Well, that was another thing. That's why I kind of asked for your backgrounds because some of the backgrounds have proficiency in games.
Yeah.
And no one had a proficiency in any kind of game, so I was like, oh, I can't help you there. But it was at one point I was going to have you guys have an intelligence check and see if you could figure it out that way. But you were creative about it and you managed to do it. But the fact that you never touched the ground afterwards is the problem, because had you actually touched, eventually, if you had actually touched the 2 squares that the statue was on, it nulls it out and you would have been safe from then on out. But no one did. That's why it's like, so you jump on the statue, you don't stand next to the statue. Yep, we're jumping on the statue. I was like, okay. And the fact that you spider climb is like, okay, so you're still gonna trigger the tiles.
Yeah, well, it's like, if you can't figure out the puzzle, figure a way outside the box to figure it out.
You do something else, and you guys did. So I mean, that's fine. And it says in the manual, like it says in the modules, like they can do whatever they want. They just understand that if they try to touch the floor, they're gonna get within those set rules. They're gonna get shocked until they stand on the 2 tiles that the statue is on. Once they stand on those 2 tiles, they actually do not get shocked, and they're in the clear from then on out.
Except for Noah's wanted to stand on them.
Yeah, you guys were so scared of the tiles. You're like, nope.
It's like, nope, I'm going to sit on top of this guy. I'm gonna take the roundabout path, go up over him, and then just land on top of him.
But yeah, there's actually another part to the module, but I can save that for another time where Dirk needs to take a break from DMing. Because that'll probably take another session or 2 to run through. Because instead of the gem being there, there's supposed to be the room leads you to the next part of the adventure. But I was like,
That's what I thought it was gonna do too. I was like, this is gonna lead us down a rabbit hole, guys.
Yeah, that's the idea, because it's supposed to be the ghost tower of Inverness. The giant pile of rubble that you guys kept circumventing was where the tower once was.
Okay.
But again, I opted to just kind of cut it at 2 sessions. So if you want to, we can continue it next week, or if you want to get back to the campaign, which I'm really itching for. But I know you needed that break, so
Yeah.
All depends how Dirk feels.
Yep.
And I'm more than happy to play a wizard again.
Yeah, that was fun.
all right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this adventure, this little short adventure that I've done, and I do have another short adventure prepped and ready. So until next time, guys.